This man spent his entire youth grinding the brutal dungeon game, even playing from a hospital bed. Driven by pure obsession, he ignored everything for 9 years until he finally cleared the final stage. This was the peak of his life. But suddenly, the system announced a secret final boss room. Entering meant no turning back. After 9 years of waiting, he did not hesitate for a second. Suddenly, the screen erupted in a blinding light as his body felt like it was tearing apart. Sucked into the digital abyss, he awoke to a reality beyond his wildest imagination or nightmares. No modern gear here, just a crowd of massive warriors and an elder roaring a fierce speech. Choose your weapons. The language was ancient, yet the words echoed clearly in his mind. Where was he? Why him? His gamer instinct screamed that this was a high-difficulty game prologue. Calm down. Gather info. He looked at his new body and nearly lost his mind. He was a mountain of muscle, covered in tribal tattoos like a legendary underworld kingpin. Even his hidden equipment was massive. This new reality was looking pretty good after all. The elder called names for the weapon ritual. Spears and axes were handed to the new warriors. It hit him. This was exactly like the character selection screen for the Maji tribe. Beside him stood a pale, shaking youth who looked like he had just stumbled out of a club. The guy's eyes were panicked. His dyed hair made him look like a total outsider here. A fellow player? A newbie? He hoped for an ally, but the elder's reaction was terrifying. Without warning, the elder's axe ended the boy. Our hero froze, his blood turning to ice. A demon possessed him. The elder barked. Cleanse your souls and prove your worth as Maji. The realization was brutal. Fact 1. Players are seen as demons. Fact 2. Discovery means death. He had to pass this tutorial perfectly. But there was one massive, life-threatening problem. He did not even know his own character's name. One wrong move, and he would be executed. He cursed the game developers. No guides, no windows, just a cold-blooded survival mission. He had exactly 1 second to think. He decided on a risky, insane gamble to survive. He would wait 2 seconds after each name. If nobody stepped forward, that had to be him. The son of Ren and Braun, the elder roared. He waited. 2 seconds. Then he marched forward. Success. He was not exposed. From now on, let's call our protagonist Braun as he starts his legend. Time for a weapon. Maji lack magic, but their physical strength is absolute and god tier. The best axes were taken. Then, he spotted a discarded silver shield in the dusty corner. He chose it. If it broke, he would just sell the metal for some cold beer later. Suddenly, a system notification. Item level plus 24. His personal log was finally active. Braun Gen. Level 1. Strength 25. Intelligence 35. Total combat power 66. Years ago, he loved flashy swords, only to be crushed by the weakest of monsters. After 49 deaths, he learned his lesson. A shield was the only way to survive early. The Maji are the ultimate tanks. Incredible vitality and power. A fortress in human form. While not as sturdy as dwarves, their defensive potential was legendary for any skilled player. With weapons chosen, the real hell began. The Labyrinth Trial. Their destination, Raphronia City. At the Elder's command, the young warriors charged into the dark, twisting depths of the maze. But their leader was a complete fool who managed to get everyone hopelessly lost immediately. The group exploded in fury. Go back to your mother. You are going to get us killed. Shamed, the leader quit. Suddenly, a beautiful girl stepped up, ready to take the lead. This was Aya, daughter of Fenin. Rumored to be a genius and undeniably stunning to behold. The men were so distracted by her beauty, they all cheered for her leadership instantly. Braun was skeptical. Sure enough, minutes later, she announced they were all completely lost. Cheers turned to screams of rage. They were trapped, and the real nightmare was just beginning. As the crowd hunts for a guide, John scoffs at their utter incompetence. This group is hopeless. His eyes scan for a beauty to join. Luckily, he spots Anna, the most stunning girl here. She is the same girl who got them lost earlier, but John has 9 years of gaming expertise. To hide his player identity, he whispers a secret strategy. Just follow the crowd to find the entrance. The others mock his directions and leave. Fools. They truly have the brains of a shrimp. Anna smiles and follows his lead. Finally, the massive silhouette of the maze looms before them. Facing thousands of challengers, John hesitates. Is entering this death trap truly the right move? He could run, but where? In his past life, he was a sickly shut-in who only knew games. His fists have never struck a soul. Yet this dungeon is a blood-soaked battlefield. Fear grips him. but the alternative is worse. He must pay the tax to 𝑩𝒂𝒕𝒕𝒍𝒆. In this twisted game of angels and demons, every citizen over 20 must pay or face execution. To survive, one must either slay monsters for loot or work backbreaking jobs in the village. But as a barbarian, his reputation is trash. He is seen as a foul-smelling, aggressive brute. No shop will hire a savage. Their only saving grace is the starter weapon granted at birth. Only 10 minutes until the gates shut. The maze only opens once every single month. Missing this window means a month of starvation. He is caught between a rock and a hard place. Suddenly, Anna reappears. She teases him for stalling and offers to hide together. 5 minutes left. He brushes her off and charges in. Anna thanks him for the earlier guidance. She is shocked by his sharp intellect. Barbarians are not supposed to be this smart. She promises a reward if they survive. Her bravery shames him into finding his own resolve. He is in a powerhouse body now. Why fear a measly level 1 dungeon? They dive inside just as the stone doors slam shut. John smirks. This is his domain. With a barbarian physique and a pro-gamer mind, he will dominate every single stage. He prepares to use his hidden knowledge, but the surroundings feel wrong. It is pitch black. Panic sets in. The status window, inventory, and skills. Everything is gone. Left with nothing, he carefully hugs the walls, desperate to avoid the hidden traps. 5 steps in, and snap. A goblin trap bites into his leg. A total rookie mistake. In a game, he would just respawn. Here, one mistake means a permanent game over. The pain is agonizing, but he stays silent. Where there are traps, a goblin is lurking nearby. The creature is waiting for its prey to bleed out. John curses his useless starter sandals. If he had decent gear, he would crush these traps. He taunts the darkness, but silence follows. Was it an illusion? No. Slowly, heavy footsteps echo from the shadows behind him. This goblin is a predator. It mirrors his every move, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Using his superior human cunning, John collapses, feigning total exhaustion. The cautious monster throws a stone to test him. Luckily, it was not a killing blow. Death is breathing down his neck. He can't even scream, or the goblins will find him. These floor 1 scavengers love traps. That green bastard is watching, waiting for his final breath. Poison burns his veins. John curses his luck. Why did the elder run out of gear now? Stuck with trash tier sandals. Give him real armor, and 10 traps wouldn't leave a single scratch. He baits the shadows, but only silence answers. Is his mind playing tricks in this dark hellhole? Just as he drops his guard, a sound. Slow, deliberate footsteps are echoing right behind his back. This monster is clever. It stalks his every move, perfectly mirroring his own frantic, staggered pace. It's playing the long game, waiting for blood loss to finish what the trap started. Truly cunning. Time for a gamble. John collapses, acting like a fresh corpse to lure the predator into range. The goblin tests him with a stone, cold and calculated. Thank God it wasn't a massive boulder. Finally, the moment has arrived. Though weak and bedridden in reality, everything changes inside this world. His strikes are lightning fast and lethal. This is the true power of a Majin body in action. 3 moves. That's all it took to send that monster to its grave. All his hard work finally paid off. The reward? 1 measly experience point and a rank 9 crystal. It's barely worth a piece of bread. Absolutely pathetic. Survived a death struggle for a snack? The frustration is boiling over, but the game is just beginning. This world is crawling with elite monsters to hunt. Time to grind, get rich, and live like a king. Blood loss is critical, yet he crawls forward. He doesn't even know where he's going anymore. Pure madness. He tears his clothes to bind the wounds in the dark. Is he a genius or just losing his mind? John stumbles through the abyss, barely conscious. The system screams, warning, continuous hemorrhaging detected. Vitality drops below 4%. Through his fading vision, a party of seasoned explorers appears. He reaches out, desperate for salvation. Who designed this hellish, near-impossible survival mission? Health hits 2%. Achievement unlocked. Iron Will. Your mental stats have increased. The explorers approach, baffled. How did a pathetic newbie like this reach this floor before them? John is fuming. He's on the verge of death and this fool is just standing there, staring. After an eternity, the swordsman asks the priestess if she can heal this dying man. A priestess? This must be a high-level party. John thinks his luck has finally turned around. She's beautiful but cold-hearted. With a sharp no, she turns her back and walks away. Desperate, the swordsman asks his friend to lend him a common healing potion. A life hangs in the balance. Not everyone is a monster. He tosses the bottle over. As the liquid hits the wound, the system reacts. Vitality is surging. Recovery is underway. But the pain feels like his soul is being torn apart. The wounds vanish. John has literally crawled back from the gates of hell. The swordsman is suspicious. How did a rookie survive this far? He wants to know the secret path. Information is currency in this world. Nothing is ever given for free, especially not in this dungeon. I fell into a teleport trap and crawled. John lies. You guys are my only saviors. Majins are known for being blunt, not liars. The party believes him and leaves him behind in the dust. What a lucky brat, they whisper. Another few minutes and he would have been monster food. Relying on the leader's map, they navigate the twisted corridors of the first floor with ease. They reach the entrance to the next level. They're certain they are the first ones there. But wait, footprints? Someone wearing legendary flip-flops has already cleared this path. The mage is stunned. This Majin crawled 15 kilometers just to find them? Truly insane. They think he's a hidden pro. Little do they know, John is just wandering around lost. Floor 2? No way. He's still stuck in a corner of floor 1, grinding mobs like a madman. With Majin physical stats, goblins are like shrimp. One flick of his wrist and they're obliterated instantly. After a full day of carnage, hunger strikes. He remembers the village chief's gift and reaches into his bag. Only one piece of dry bread left. Eat and be thirsty, or starve. He has no choice. 2 bites and it's gone. Still hungry, now parched, and his temper is hitting the ceiling. He sets off in search of water. Finally, a hidden spring appears in the darkness. Someone is already there. A stranger, the first person he's met outside that party. The golden rule. Don't interact with other adventurers unless it's a matter of life or death. While drinking, he counts his goblin loot. The haul is decent, but exhaustion is finally catching up. Sleeping in a dungeon is a death wish. You either trust in God or find a reliable squad. He looks for a team, but nobody wants a rookie. He's ready to just pass out in a corner. Suddenly, a suspicious man approaches. He looks like trouble, but he's offering a partnership. I'm Han, the man says. Everyone else is already paired up. Want to watch each other's backs? It's a tempting offer, but John is wary. In this deadly game, the most dangerous monster is man. Forced into a corner, I accepted the deal with that creep. One look told me he was trouble. Luckily, his lack of supplies meant my dignity was safe. We played a game to decide the watch. I lost. I always do. He handed me a watch, setting the time for our guard rotation. I waited for the shift change, bored out of my mind. Time crawls when death is lurking nearby. Normally, a few mobile games would kill the time. Here, there is nothing but cold, damp silence. Staring at that watch made 2 hours feel like 20 years. Finally, the shift change arrived. I woke him up, but trusting a stranger in this hellhole? That is a rookie mistake. I pretended to leave an opening, baiting him to strike. 2 hours passed, and he did nothing. What a waste of energy. I should have just slept. Now, my mind is racing with suspicion. Why group with me? Besides sharing guards, does this rat have a darker motive hidden away? Finally, it was my turn to rest. I closed my eyes but stayed sharp, faking a deep slumber. My paranoia paid off. When the blade swung, I dodged. John Hamm looked like he'd seen a ghost. He claimed he was sleepwalking. Fine. I am sleepwalking too. I lunged at the traitor with fury. His human frame was pathetic against my Majin strength. He begged for mercy, but I was done. I was sleep-deprived and pissed. I thrashed him until he confessed his twisted plan to rob me. He wanted my magic stones, my shield, and a Majin heart for some sick medicine. He thought the truth would set him free. Wrong. I sent him to the afterlife with one strike. System alert, achievement unlocked. First kill. Reward, spirit stat increased by 1 point. Day 2 began with new gear. Pauldrons equipped. Total item level, 13. Inventory space, expanded. Hammer equipped. Total item level, 30. My destructive power is reaching a whole new level. Leather boots equipped. Total level, 5. Now, I can crush goblins with a single, devastating swing. The monsters are relentless. They keep coming, giving me 0 time to recover or catch my breath. I need allies, but humans are untrustworthy snakes. I rejected every invitation that came my way. I hoped for an elf or someone different. Someone with more honor than these scavengers. A dwarf would be ideal, a true Majin spirit. But in this maze, they are nowhere to be found. Hunger and exhaustion are setting in. I found a corner to hide when I spotted an elf. She was beautiful but terrified, instantly drawing her bow. I noticed she was bleeding out. I approached slowly. Seeing my size and her own wounds, she collapsed, begging for her life. A timid elf? That is a first. I felt awkward, unsure how to handle such a fragile creature. I found some herbs and a bandage in my pack. I quickly started treating her nasty wounds. She was stunned that Imogen would help. I told her to hush and focus on healing first. Her name is Erwin. Desperate for a safe rest, I asked her to form a temporary party. To my surprise, she agreed immediately. Is she that desperate? Or just incredibly naive? Exhaustion won. We took turns guarding, and finally, I managed to get some decent sleep. While watching her, 2 thugs approached, asking for a price. I told them to get lost. They saw my size and retreated, but my gut told me trouble was coming. I tried waking Erwin. She would not budge. I panicked, thinking she had died on me before I could say a word. Turns out, she was faking it. She feared that if she woke up, our contract would end. She needs a shield. A whole guild is hunting her down, not just those 2 losers. Should I keep the pretty, dangerous girl or run? Her puppy eyes made the choice for me. Fine, we are teammates, but I take 90% of the loot. My rules, or you are out. She agreed without hesitation. Then, she told me the real reason she was being hunted. On the first night, a man tried to force himself on her. He did not ask permission. So, she drew her blade and castrated him right there. That is why they want her head. Hearing that made me break into a cold sweat. Good thing I behaved myself last night. Eween's senses flared as she issued a warning. A pursuer was 300 meters back, and the distance was shrinking fast. Facing an unknown number of enemies, they bolted. But no matter how fast they ran, the shadow behind them refused to fade. Realizing flight was futile, John demanded to know her specialty. Incredibly, she claimed her best skills were laundry and sweeping. John's face turned purple as he exploded in rage. We are in a death game. Give me a skill that actually keeps us alive. Pouting, she revealed her true mastery was archery. Fed up with being hunted, John decided to eliminate the threat and stop the headache. As the target's shadow appeared, Awen drew her bow. She sent the pursuer straight to the afterlife in one shot. Since it was her first kill, her hands trembled. Luckily, having a handsome protector nearby helped steady her nerves. They hoped for legendary loot, but found only trash. Just a small pouch of crystals, 2 daggers, and a vial of poison. Noticing her outfit was far too revealing for survival, John ordered her to layer up. Wear this before the mosquitoes eat you alive. A beauty like her shouldn't be covered in bug bites. Suddenly, their communication stone buzzed with a grim notification. Her bounty had spiked to 10,000 gold. She turned pale with fear, but John promised no one would touch her. John's next move was insane, descending to the 2nd floor. Eween hesitated, wondering why they would dive into even greater danger. Was this the Manji mindset? While searching for the stairs, they began grinding mobs for extra experience and loot. Seeing John's sluggish pace, Eween stepped up. She offered to handle the monsters herself while he rested. Finding the perfect teammate felt like winning the lottery. However, their path was suddenly blocked by a pack of hideous ghouls. John was caught off guard by their appearance here. Had they taken a wrong turn into a nightmare zone? Terrified by their grotesque forms, Eween hid behind John. She begged him to handle these monsters because they were too creepy. John took the vanguard position, shield raised high. He ordered Awen to provide cover fire from the rear. These ghouls were far deadlier than mere goblins, but with John's raw strength and her support, the monsters were crushed. They finally reached the portal stone to the 2nd floor. There, John spotted a familiar sight, his own legendary slipper. He had left it as a marker on day 1. He had been at the exit all along but had wandered in circles instead. Infuriated by his own stupidity, John began cursing. Eween, totally misunderstanding, thought he was mourning a fallen comrade at the site. She began tearfully praying for his dead friend's soul. John was exhausted by her antics, but she was too pretty to stay mad at. If she were ugly, he would have swapped teammates long ago. Together, they finally stepped into the abyss of floor 2. Using his veteran gamer instincts, John analyzed the terrain. This was likely the northern region of the Goblin Forest. A hidden teleport gate stood behind them. It was their only emergency escape route back to the 1st floor. His detection skill confirmed no life signs within 50 meters. Thanks to the artificial starlight, his vision remained crystal clear. Yet, the labyrinth remained a dark and confusing place. Eween wondered how a dungeon could have its own moon and stars. Standing still was getting boring, so they started exploring. Unlike the 1st floor, the traps here were part of the environment's features. This zone was the infamous Goblin Forest. Beyond the traps, the real danger was how the monsters organized themselves. Goblins here moved in disciplined squads of 12. They were often led by elite warriors or deadly archers. The deeper they ventured into the woods, the higher the enemy levels became. But that didn't scare them. Their goal was simply to scout the perimeter of the teleportation gate. With nothing but time, they became a demolition crew. They dismantled every single trap they found along the way. Soon, they had collected enough scrap metal to earn a small fortune. Their pockets were finally getting heavy. Just as they were celebrating, Eween's eyes narrowed. A pack of over 10 goblins was closing in fast. They were only 50 meters away. John grinned, ready to stretch his muscles after the long walk. He charged into the center of the enemy formation. Eween took her position, locking her sights on the targets. With a warrior's heart, John swung his heavy hammer. His shield blocked every desperate counterattack from the goblin pack. Combined with Eween's lethal precision, the goblins stood no chance. They were wiped out before they could even scream. System message: you have defeated a goblin warrior. Experience +1. Reward: 11 magic crystals obtained. The efficiency was night and day compared to floor 1. What took a whole day before now took only a few seconds. John tried to scavenge their armor and weapons to sell. To his disappointment, the corpses vanished into pixels immediately. Seeing Eween's hard work, John handed her a share of crystals. Her face lit up with a brilliant, greedy smile. With their spirits high and pockets filling up, the duo continued their dominant run deeper into the forest. He carved a path of pure carnage. Not a single monster survived his onslaught. The duo retreated to the shadows. Irwine collapsed into a deep, exhausted sleep. 15 hours on the second floor. More loot, but they had strayed too deep. Rival groups appeared, some from alien realms. 3-man squads were everywhere now. They passed like shadows. Bjorn glanced at his partner, struck by her beauty. A casual compliment sent her soul soaring. The air-headed fairy woke up blushing. 10 years of gaming, yet he had never met such a clumsy fairy. Their relentless grind concluded. As they headed back, more goblins blocked the path. Exhausted but unyielding, they cleared the way. Their blades sang one last time. Bjorn had become a master of violence. Goblin squads were now mere fodder. Her archery was flawless, hitting every mark. She glowed under his rare praise. Then, it appeared in essence. A fragment of the system's most broken power. These active and passive skills are unique. 1 drop per level, a literal cheat. To an adventurer, an essence is worth more than a mountain of gold. Absorption is limited. Your fate depends entirely on the monster you slay. Drop rates are near 0. Bjorn never imagined he would find one here. Irwine, starving, asked if it was cotton candy. She wanted a bite. He handed it over without hesitation. A barbarian has no use for archer skills. He needed power too, but this was her destiny. A goddess in training. Vultures appeared, smelling the essence. Trash who only know how to steal. They relied on numbers to bully. Their plan: kill them and take the prize. Erwin swallowed it whole, right before their eyes, their faces twisted in fury. The essence was gone, but the thugs stayed. Bjorn ordered her to run. Any new powers? It was her first time absorbing such divine energy. The system had not updated her senses yet. Every essence holds a secret. She had absorbed the goblin archer's soul. The game mechanics began to shift. Speed +2, accuracy +8. Her stats exploded with newfound potential. Poison arrows and stealth techniques. She had become a ghost on the battlefield. She claimed she could not use it, yet her body began to fade. She turned translucent. But the goblins would not let them leave so easily. Bjorn dove back into the fray. He would crush these pests once more. Suddenly, arrows pierced the air. Bjorn's arm was struck by a hidden sniper. The goblins fled in terror. Bjorn did not chase. A greater threat lurked. The 4 thugs were hiding, taking potshots. Their greed had turned into malice. They cornered him, bitter about the lost essence. Eween was nowhere in sight. They mocked him, looking for a fight. These cowards underestimated a true warrior. Surrounded, Bjorn chose violence. He would show them the meaning of struggle. Arrows rained down from the shadows. Irwine was providing cover from afar. Her regular arrows hit a shield. She ignited her tips, raining fire down. Infuriated, 1 thug broke off to hunt her. The battle reached its peak. One by one, they fell. Only a stubborn old veteran remained standing, a strong warrior in bad company. Bjorn unleashed a relentless barrage of strikes. Fear filled the old man's eyes. Bjorn finished him and Irwine rushed back. She fussed over his wounds, warming his heart. She threw him a potion. As he drank, his blood began to boil. Life force surged through him. His blood burned like liquid fire. Poison? No time death was closing in. Loot everything, he barked. As the gate hummed, their escape route finally manifested. They plunged through. Safe at last, John promised the beauty they would conquer more labyrinths. Let us grab a cold one later. He winked. Just as the dungeon timer hit 0, the void spat them out. Raphonia greeted them, but the crowd was absolutely legendary. Every warrior in existence seemed gathered there. The sheer scale was beyond his wildest imagination. Laughter and tall tales filled the air. It felt more like a festival than reality. Dungeon physics are wild. No matter the stay, you always return to the next noon. While syncing his watch, a loud voice called out. A fellow MJ wanted to party, total strangers, yet they shook hands like blood brothers. The MJ bond was truly bizarre. Suddenly, a sea of MJ surrounded him. Time to cash in those dungeon spoils. The shopkeeper gasped. 18,000 crystals. The tally was absolutely mind-blowing for a solo run. A new record, the crowd erupted, cheering for the man who achieved the impossible. Amidst the fame, Erwin walked by, surrounded by the realm's most elite and beautiful. She was with icons. He was with sweaty giants. Talk about a devastating visual contrast. Their eyes locked a secret promise for tonight. Her smile was enough to melt steel. Tears flowed as families reunited. For others, the labyrinth became a permanent, silent grave. It is just a game, he muttered. Yet, the raw sorrow felt hauntingly, terrifyingly real. The tavern turned into a battlefield of booze. At this rate, his hard-earned gold would vanish. He tried to ghost the party. But the clan pounced, trapping the hero in a circle. 5 cups first, they roared. John promised them a wild night later just to escape. They let him go, cheering for the promised fun. Finally, John breathed in the crisp air. Every sensation, every laugh, the line between code and reality was beginning to blur completely. This was not the 21st century, but in many ways, this world felt more alive. After a hot shower, he collapsed onto the bed. Only a personal massage could improve this. A pang of loneliness hit. Even with no one waiting back home, he missed it. 9 p.m., he had slept through his date. Panic surged as he bolted outside. No more pork here, kid, an old man laughed. The tavern had literally switched menus. Bankruptcy in a game? These developers are absolute madmen. Their attention to detail is brilliant. Using his pro-gamer instincts, he tracked the scent of ale to the hidden basement bar. The roar of the crowd was deafening. There she was, Erwin, waving him over like a star. But she was not alone. A sharp-eyed woman stood beside her, 𝒂𝒧𝒧, the overprotective sister. Her gaze was like a frozen blade. She clearly saw John as nothing but trouble. Meeting a young girl this late? She hissed. John felt the cold sweat of death. He had not just napped, he had slept for over 24 hours. He was a day late. I am truly sorry, he bowed. A sincere MJ was a sight no one expected. She softened slightly, but the interrogation continued. Why seek my sister in a place like this? Why the third wheel? Does she plan on guarding her sister's heart until the end? He fumed silently. Then, 𝒂𝒧𝒧 slammed down 350,000 crystals. A bribe to disappear. It felt like a cliché drama. Take the cash and never see her again. I just want a partner for the grind, he countered. A 50-50 split of pure dominance. Erwin's eyes glistened with hope, but 𝒂𝒧𝒧's no was as final as a death sentence. This was their goodbye. Her solo run had merely been a rite of passage, a tradition. From now on, she would be under her sister's wing. John felt his heart sink. Before leaving, the Ice Queen demanded an oath. You will not lay a finger on her. With a beauty like Wynne, sleeping is a waste of life. I should stay awake and study her instead. Fine, don't sleep then. She follows her sister's orders for now, but she's clearly longing to join my squad. The poor girl has never once disobeyed her sister since childhood. She thanks me for the offer, but declines. She sticks to her family pact, so I just encourage her. Being a good sister is a noble path, after all. A high-rank spirit's help is a godsend, I tell her. Honestly, even I wouldn't turn down such a cheat code boost. She hands over stones and spirit essence to thank me for the rescue. We sit in a silent, empty tavern. No one is serving, so I tell her to order snacks. She claims she isn't hungry, but I'm not convinced. Suddenly, she wants to drink. She's been holding back all day just to share her first glass with me. For spirits raised in temples, the first drink is a sacred rite of passage. A truly momentous occasion. The feast arrives and we toast to being 20, celebrating our survival in that hellish dungeon. As the buzz kicks in, I tell her I have a secret. It's too dangerous to talk here, I whisper. Hook, line, and sinker. She follows me back to my room for safety, completely unaware of my true intentions. Back at the room, I give her a massage. I need to check how those hidden stats are actually working. I'm testing her growth. This world, this Angels and Demons game is a brutal, unforgiving nightmare for any casual player. One look at the status window proves it. This isn't a user-friendly world. It's a complex, data-driven hellscape. Body, mind, and ability are the core stats. But one click reveals thousands of hidden, mind-boggling subparameters. It's a total brain breaker. Stamina governs endurance, carrying capacity, and the raw power of every physical strike. This complexity is why two identical-looking characters can have completely different fates on the battlefield. I've mastered these mechanics by spending thousands of hours in this game before I was trapped inside. Yet, even after years of play, some overpowered stats remain a mystery. This world still hides its deadliest secrets. One such mystery is obsession. It's a stat linked to the essence when absorbed, and I know nothing about it. It's labeled as a low-tier mental stat. In this deadly game, even a minor unknown variable can be fatal. I ask if she feels different after absorbing the essence. She looks at me and mentions something totally trivial. She never liked cookies before, but now she's an addict. She's also become a total chatterbox, talking all night. Fatigue finally wins and we drift off to sleep. A rare, peaceful moment before the next stage of madness. Next morning, we haul our dungeon loot to the shop. We didn't expect much, but the profit is insane. The trash loot sells for 150,000 crystals. My share alone is 14 million. I've never had this much gold in the early game. This is the perfect start for my global domination. Win won't leave my side, following me through the streets like a lost kitten as we explore the city. We reach the square just as an execution begins. The air is thick with the scent of looming death. Their crime? Simply failing to pay taxes. Welcome to Ronia, the last surviving city in a cursed, dying world. Bound by a witch's curse, the dungeon is the only source of life. Resources here are paid for in blood. Execution is just a way to cull the population. Those who can't provide are simply erased from the world. Taxes skyrocket every year. Starting at 700,000 crystals, the pressure to survive is absolutely suffocating. I must get stronger. Every year, the price of life rises, and only the most powerful can afford to live. To survive this nightmare, I must reach the 6th floor. Failure to climb means a one-way trip to the gallows. Knowledge is power in this game. I head to the library to dig up secrets that others have forgotten. I find Win buried in books, fast asleep. I wake her up, surprised by her sudden interest in studying. She actually listened to my advice about thinking before acting. But it seems the library is her toughest dungeon. She finally realizes that monsters aren't the only danger. She's showing more brains than any spirit I've met. But her patience is thin. After a few pages, she's ready to quit. Reading is just too boring for her. She reminds me of her promise to help. Find me at the Angry Bull Inn, she says before leaving. She vows to give her all for me. I'll gladly take that favor. A high-tier spirit is a powerful pawn. I wander deeper into the library and find a beautiful librarian. Before I can speak, she starts casting magic. She mumbles a spell and instantly passes out. Overworked and underpaid, even in a fantasy world. How truly tragic. He delved into the archives to uncover the hidden mechanics of this deadly world. He discovered the fallen world, detailing a witch's curse that erased all life centuries ago. Ronia stood as the final bastion, the only sanctuary that escaped the ancient devastation. To save the starving masses, the royal family opened a rift to another dimension. That rift became today's labyrinth. The game's lore matched this grim history perfectly. Another book on alchemy explained how monster crystals are refined into essential survival supplies. The theories were incredibly dry. He wondered if developers just made up this filler text. Honestly, who has time for reading in a survival game? It felt like total procrastination. He then researched Holy War III, uncovering the deep blood feud between orcs and elves. The fourth book, Abyssal Evil Souls, described otherworlders who possess local bodies like parasites. The church and royalty fought desperately to end this phenomenon. Night fell as he finished. He returned to his lonely room, missing the warmth of his companion, Erwin. After a deep sleep, heavy pounding at the door startled him. It was Erwin. She finally showed up, eager to reveal her new, adorable wind spirit to him. But the spirit trashed his room instantly. Erwin awkwardly began cleaning the chaotic mess. In minutes, the room was spotless and fragrant. She wanted him to see her growth. Though she couldn't join the fight yet, she desperately wanted to remain his loyal friend. Bjorn promised to be her lifelong friend, making her face light up with pure joy. 26 days remained until the labyrinth reopened. He had to maximize every single second. He headed to the Bull Inn to meet Aina for some hardcore combat training. The inn was cheap at 300 stones, but 10 people per room? Absolutely disgusting. He found Aina and asked for lessons. She happily agreed, leading him to the grounds. Training was available anytime she wasn't sleeping. The yard was packed with elite warriors. Thinking she was weak, Bjorn attacked. One light swing from Ina sent him flying, bleeding. Her strength was monstrous. He charged repeatedly until nightfall, losing every single round. Ina ended the session to eat. Bjorn asked about her labyrinth exploration party status. She goes solo to save money. Seeing her potential, Bjorn invited her to join him. She accepted instantly. The next day, they visited the village for a critical power-up. The elder welcomed them. Bjorn wasn't there for literacy. He demanded the spirit brand. Every race has unique traits. Elves have spirits, and dwarves possess legendary armor blessings, while beastmen have spirit beasts. Berserkers wield the spirit brand. The elder grew suspicious. Bjorn lied, claiming he read about it with Ina. The elder beamed with immense pride. The spirit brand costs a staggering 800,000 stones, a price few can pay. Bjorn agreed without flinching. Ina froze. Where did he get that mountain of gold? One wrong move means game over. But the elder greets him with a surprisingly warm, suspicious smile. Forget basic literacy. John seeks ultimate power. He's here to claim the legendary spirit seal for himself. To conquer this labyrinth, he needs that broken skill. Every race hides a secret, unique, ancient strength. Elves command spirits, while dwarves imbue their steel with divine blessings. Everyone has their own lethal edge. Items gain massive buffs while beastmen summon primal monsters. It's a world of legendary, forbidden contracts. Only the berserkers possess spirit seals. The elder's eyes narrow. How does a rookie know such secrets? This isn't knowledge for a young warrior. Usually, the Manji tribe is all brawn and zero brains. He played his hand too early. Just some light reading with AA, he lies with a grin. The suspicion fades into pride. The elder agrees, but god-tier skills never come to anyone for free. The price tag is soul-crushing. 800,000 stones for a single, tiny drop of divine power. John agrees without flinching. AA freezes in shock. Where will a peasant find that much gold? As a veteran gamer, Bjorn knew stats were far more vital than temporary riches. Most spend gold on rent, but he handed every coin to the elder for power. The elder was stunned by his wealth, so Bjorn spun a dark, tactical lie. He claimed he'd enslaved a wounded fairy and sold her back to her kin. The ruthless backstory explained his massive pile of gold without raising any real suspicion. The elder roared with sadistic laughter, thoroughly impressed by such a cold-blooded tale. He rewarded Bjorn's honesty with a massive bonus of 200,000 stones. A spirit mark is the ultimate skill-up, fueled by absorbing raw magical essences. These tattoos are marks of pure souls, visible only on the strongest barbarians. Even as adults, these ink-like spirits prove their souls remain untainted and fierce. That's the secret behind why every barbarian warrior wears their destiny on their skin. The shaman warned him that this choice was permanent and could never be undone. Bjorn ignored the chatter. He knew the immortal mark was the meta for tanks. His current skills were decent, but becoming an unkillable god was the only path. System alert. Immortal mark stage 1 activated. Natural regeneration has evolved significantly. His raw strength surged by 13 points as the ritual's divine light faded. Next morning, Bjorn headed to the markets to gear up for the next floor. Training with Einar proved he wasn't a swordsman. He was a human fortress. He'd focus solely on shield mastery until he found a legendary spirit soul later. Wasting time on sword skills would only hinder his path to total domination. Inside the armory, he ignored the flashy steel for a perfectly balanced set. He chose lightweight gear to maximize his stamina for looting the lower floors. Fully equipped, his combat rating soared as he donned his new hardened armor. With 50,000 stones left, he cursed the game's insane inflation and garbage prices. A month passed in a blur of routine as he prepared for the maze. Breakfast at 7 with the lovely Win, then off to the library for lore. He explored every corner of the city, hunting for info the books didn't have. By late afternoon, he joined the other barbarians to sharpen his primal combat instincts. On the 7th day, he began dueling the most elite warriors in the district. No flashy systems here, just raw, blood-pumping instinct against sheer brute force. Bjorn's strategy eventually overwhelmed Einar, despite her incredible natural strength and speed. Her movements were too predictable, a fatal flaw in a high-stakes death game. He warned her, but some habits are carved deeper than any spirit mark. Every night, Win walked an hour just to see him, blinded by her crush. The countdown hit 0. Only 24 hours remained until the maze gates groaned open. Bjorn and Einar formed their duo, sharing one last feast before the chaos began. As the rift flickered to life, they stood ready to conquer the unknown depths. Exploiting a secret coordinate, Bjorn grabbed Einar and plunged straight through the glitch. They bypassed the first floor entirely, manifesting instantly at the second floor's gate. System alert. World first. You have reached the second floor in record time. Level up. His essence capacity expanded as the world rewarded his insane speedrun strategy. In this world, these achievements are rare gems that break the limits of mortality. Normal grinding hits a wall, but being the first to advance shatters those boundaries. Speed is the ultimate cheat code to gaining experience without killing a single mob. His unpredictable strategy was working perfectly. The game was now officially his to dominate. Braun warns the girl to stay silent, or the meat disappears. She obeys him instantly. Veterans reach level 2 quickly. To avoid scrutiny, Braun drags her away from the gate. This is the land of the dead. These monsters make forest goblins look like kittens. No annoying traps exist here. It is a pure power test for demon warriors. They proceed and encounter 3 ghouls. Since it is day 1, the numbers are low. Soon the horde will double. Anna moves like a gale, shredding monsters like mere chickens. A banshee wail echoes from the peaks. Anna cowers behind John, terrified of the sound. John identifies them as vengeful goddesses. They do not attack unless you strike them first. Do not bother them, he warns. A curse follows any fool who dares provoke them. Anna is in awe of his knowledge. Teaming with him was her best life choice. After crushing some trash, they head north. Mutated horrors are waiting for their arrival. They face giant ghouls, twice the normal size. Mutated skeletons block their path forward now. They encounter skeleton warriors and even archers. These monsters are just fodder for them. Their names sound impressive, but their difficulty is trash. Braun's training is finally paying off. His mace is now in its perfect state. His combat skills have reached new heights. The weight is ideal for shattering skulls. It is far more efficient than a hammer. His vest armor is optimized for speed. He uses his shield with a lethal precision. The helmet blocks arrows effortlessly. For the price, this gear provides insane, legendary value. Braun is a god of destruction, but Anna is just as deadly in his party. John takes a hit after clearing the minions. His necrotic trait is a cheat code. The wound heals in 60 seconds flat. His spiritual essence increases his endurance rapidly. He senses the dry ground. John warns her that a dangerous threat is approaching them. A 3-eyed monster erupts from the earth. The atmosphere turns heavy with killing intent. They have no choice but to fight. Its skin is hard as solid diamond. Their standard attacks are like mere tickles. Suddenly, Anna is blasted away by its power. John doesn't flinch. He knows that tougher monsters always carry the most legendary loot. The beast summons a ghoul army. John goes berserk and solos the massive boss monster. He leaves the small fry to Anna. They engage in a brutal, 500-round duel. Neither side yields. Anna finishes her task and joins the epic battle against the giant. It is a low-tier boss with a massive body. They pincer it without any mercy. The tanky beast has insane regeneration. John lands heavy blows, but it heals instantly. As it tries to flee, Anna trips its leg. Its massive size becomes its own prison. Trapped on the ground, the beast is helpless. They unleash their ultimate skills together. It explodes into dust. The reward is a stone worth 1 night at the inn. What a waste of time. They continue their journey, hunting with perfect, lethal coordination. Using their trip and kill tactic, they slaughter 70 more monsters on day 1. Day 2 brings reapers in pairs. John and Anna have already mastered their patterns. Lowering their guard is not an option. They trip one, then smash the other. It is a simple, dominating strategy. However, not every encounter goes so smoothly today. Some summon endless hordes of ghouls. This wastes their time and their precious energy. Reapers don't chase past their territory. John just resets by running a short distance. By afternoon, groups of 3 appear. These are gold mines, but currently too dangerous. They must ignore the treasure for now. They seek a safe camp after the slaughter. They stumble upon another party of explorers while searching for a safe camp. Anna screams for them to get out. Braun nearly soils himself at her sudden madness. Thinking he'd pity any man marrying her, they suddenly stumble upon a scene of pure, unadulterated carnage. A female hunter stood amidst the corpses. These professional scavengers don't hunt monsters, they hunt other explorers for loot. In the city of Ronia, such crimes carry a death sentence. Unlike her, John only kills when backed into a corner. Tall, agile, with crimson hair and a cursed tattoo. This phantom leaves 0 survivors, making her a legendary myth. Survival instinct kicked in, they ran. Soon, they found another party, and Braun desperately begged them for assistance. Betrayal. These men were also bandits. They paralyzed our duo instantly, a blade racing toward John's vital organs. Using a game-breaking trick, John shattered the paralysis upon impact. He countered instantly, sending the thugs to hell. Death was inches away. John downed a high-tier potion just in time to stop his soul from departing. They captured a survivor for interrogation, but the red-haired Reaper reappeared, silencing him with a lethal hidden projectile. Terrified and cornered, they charged the scarred assassin. But the gap in their combat power was simply too vast. 3 moves. That's all she needed to floor them. Braun accepted his fate, hoping for a better reincarnation. She spared them on a whim, citing an old debt to a demon. John realized they were alive only by luck. After swearing an oath of silence, they fled to the first floor. They needed to rest and recover immediately. Leveraging his hidden game knowledge, John discovered a secret dungeon entrance, a hidden realm within the main maze. This rare instance was a special dungeon. Since it was floor 1, the monsters were merely low-level training dummies. Fear paralyzed them. Knowing escape was impossible, they threw themselves at the scarred Reaper in a desperate gambit. The power gap was an abyss. The 2 demons couldn't even graze her clothes before being crushed in 3 moves. Facing certain death, Braun prayed for better luck in his next life. To die here was truly pathetic, but she spared them. Today, she was in a good mood. One simple condition: their total and absolute silence. She once owed a favor to a demon, so she never intended to kill them. They were just collateral damage. Exhausted from the misunderstanding, they swore an oath. After parting ways, John and AA retreated to recover. Having reached their limit, they returned to the first floor. Resting was the only way to survive the coming trials. Fully healed, they resumed their quest. John sought a secluded grinding spot to farm high-tier loot in peace. Utilizing his pro-gamer experience, John unlocked a hidden cavern, a secret sanctuary perfect for farming without any interference. This was a hidden dungeon, a labyrinth nested within another. In this game, these random instances are legendary. As a floor 1 instance, the difficulty was manageable. It was the perfect stage for them to dominate. Amidst the stunning scenery, another group approached. A diverse party consisting of a dwarf, a mage, and a porter. Always the strategist, Braun invited them to join. A temporary alliance would make this raid much more efficient. They exchanged introductions and ventured deeper. However, John knew that loot distribution often turned allies into enemies. Squabbles over potential drops began immediately. Braun joined the banter, keeping the atmosphere light while staying vigilant. The group moved toward the iridescent castle. This massive fortress was divided into 4 distinct, dangerous zones. From the drawbridge to the demon's chamber, every zone was a death trap, but their coordination was surprisingly flawless. Low-level mobs stood no chance. To this party, these monsters were nothing more than entertainment for the journey. Inside, the atmosphere turned oppressive. The mage effortlessly illuminated the darkness with a simple flick of her wrist. More trash mobs appeared. John, AA, and the dwarf charged forward, shattering the enemy lines with brute force. They reached a massive gate. The dwarf's strength failed to budge it, but the mage just laughed. With a casual gesture, she forced the door open. Strength isn't everything when you possess absolute magical mastery. A horde of bloated undead swarmed the bridge. They looked ready to feast, but the mage was unimpressed. She wiped the entire horde with a single spell. The zombies didn't even realize they were already dead. The party stood in awe. John knew mages were powerful, but this level of destruction was completely unexpected. No wonder they didn't want to share loot. With power like this, John was happy just being carried. The first section was cleared with laughable ease. They breached the inner fortress, ready for the next stage. Inside, the mage unleashed another chant. 90% of the enemy forces were vaporized in an instant. Luckily, a few stragglers remained for John and AA. They had to contribute something to avoid being dead weight. After a short breather, the party pressed on. Their journey through this deadly fortress had only just begun. Deep in the abyssal dungeon, AA's nerves shattered at the banshee's haunting shriek and the mage's threats. Terrified, she clung to John for dear life, only to watch the mage erase the spirits instantly. Venturing deeper, a bestiary of nightmares emerged. Wolves, serpents, and even dragons blocked their path to glory. Yet, none could withstand the mage's overwhelming mana. Every foe fell before her absolute, God-like power. With a mere flick of her wrist, she reigned supreme. Then, the stench of death hit them hard. In a room of rotting corpses, only John's demonic blood kept him standing amidst the suffocating decay. The first true boss emerged, a sight so gruesome even the sturdiest dwarf warrior stood paralyzed in fear. This game was designed for the elite, a hyper-realistic nightmare where every detail felt lethally authentic. While the graphics were breathtaking, the stench of the dead was enough to choke a legendary sorceress. Even the veteran dwarf, survivor of 1,000 battles, froze before this new, terrifying manifestation of evil. Acid sprayed, burning the dwarf's eyes, while the mage was busy losing her lunch from the gore. Only the two demon kin remained to face the corpse golem, a juggernaut of stitched-together agony and rot. The beast hurled explosive remains at distance, dragging anyone close into its gaping maw to be devoured. John played a dangerous game of cat and mouse, stalling until the mage finally regained her lethal composure. She unleashed a wave of infernal incineration, but the monster merely shed its flesh to enter skeletal form. Refusing to be dead weight, John and AA lunged forward, striking with unpredictable and ruthless precision. Without further help, they dismantled the beast, claiming victory and the rare essence that manifested from its core. High-tier essences are myths in common lands, treasures that most explorers only dream of seeing once. To a desperate adventurer, this drop was like a miracle rain in a decade-long drought, absolutely priceless. Every hunter craves the loot of guardians, but the rapid stat boosts from essence are the ultimate temptation. One essence for 5 people, a difficult split, but the corpse golem's attributes were too tempting to ignore. Resistance plus 78, poison immunity plus 12, and bone density plus 55. Truly a godly drop. John's intuition would suffer, but the defensive trade-off was legendary. His frame became an iron fortress. Increased weight meant becoming an unmovable wall, capable of crushing foes and ignoring devastating physical strikes. Its active skill, corpse detonation, allowed him to sacrifice limbs to trigger massive, wide-range explosions of gore. A high-risk, high-reward ability that traded vitality for pure, unadulterated destruction on the battlefield. The passive acid blood was a double-edged sword, corroding everything it touched, including his own precious gear. Seeing little value for himself, John waited for the mage to recover before deciding the final distribution. The dwarf offered his gratitude, while the mage cheekily reminded everyone her spells were the true MVP. As they split the spoils, John aimed for the ruby shard, while the others conceded the boss loot. Realizing the golem essence was rarer than guardian drops, the mage gasped in pure, academic shock. Not every explorer gets to witness such a rarity, and the mage's eyes sparked with greedy curiosity. She begged to study it, and John, ever the strategist, proposed a daring and unpredictable trade. He gave her the essence now, betting everything on claiming the next guardian essence they might find. It was a reckless gamble, but she quickly secured the prize in a vial for future research. Escaping the foul-smelling tomb, they stumbled into a hidden chamber where a mysterious tome awaited them. A book fell from a disturbed statue, a hidden feature of the game that made the mage squeal. It was the Necronomicon, a priceless artifact of dark magic that she claimed without a second thought. John and the dwarf looked at the grimy book with disgust, letting her keep the filthy relic. After a quick warm-up against minor mobs, a legendary boss appeared. The Withered Bone Knight, a level 7 nightmare. Luck seemed to be on their side, or perhaps destiny was just cruel. These knights come in 3 flavors of hell: hatred, sorrow, or the dreaded hunger. Hatred drains levels, while sorrow breaks the mind. But they faced hunger, a beast that feasts on life. It tried to drain their vitality to heal, but it picked the wrong fight with an OP mage. With a single deep wound curse, she negated its healing and sent the knight to eternal damnation. Barely broke a sweat. After slaying the beast, a rare night bone essence drops. John's long-awaited prize is finally here. Surprisingly, he chooses not to consume it himself. He gifts it to Anna instead. Shaken, she vows to repay his incredible generosity. Suddenly, Anna's body shrinks. Fear strikes. Has the essence triggered a permanent curse? The mage explains. Bone compression. Smaller frame, but damage and agility surge by 12. Bone density 55, endurance 15. She's tiny now, but gains the sterilization passive. Bleeding is halved. Life drain is active. Killing monsters now fuels her rapid regeneration. Anna weeps. No one will respect me. She fears being underestimated even more now. The party comforts her beauty. Suddenly, a massive monster interrupts their emotional moment. Anna cleaves the beast effortlessly. With power surging, her sorrow turns into pure excitement. John's flattery makes her beam. Only the final guard room stands in their way. A bittersweet feeling settles in. Their long journey together is nearing its end. 2 essences in one day? Pure luck. John worries the game's economy might actually collapse. The door handle looks wrong. John shouts a warning, but the dwarf is too fast. The door swings wide to a nightmare. It's no knight, it's a high-tier vampire lord. Count Camberman reveals himself. A genius predator appearing far earlier than the game allows. He is a high-tier entity. Intelligent, lethal, and far beyond a normal monster's strength. Monsters here follow a strict hierarchy. From simple mutants to the feared high-tier elites. This isn't a mob, it's a true boss, a creature possessing centuries of tactical wisdom. Rare types exist in the Deadlands, but a vampire count is the ultimate apex predator. Like the mimics, they are rarely seen. Encountering one here is a death sentence for most. Their intelligence makes them terrifying hunters. They don't just kill, they dominate their prey. Realizing the gap, they make a choice. Everyone, run. This isn't a fight we can win. They retreat in total chaos. Why is a floor 6 boss in this zone? Anna is stunned by John's intuition. How did he know the danger behind that door? John's played this stage 1,000 times. He recognized the unique bloodstains on the handle. The Count intercepts them instantly. The mage retaliates with a desperate fire explosion. The smoke clears, the monster is gone. Is he defeated? Or just hunting from the shadows? It's the Soul Phantom technique. He teleports his physical form to his spirit's location, a lethal, high-speed movement art. But the mage manages to shatter the spirit form. They've bought 3 minutes of survival, but the mana backlash leaves the mage unconscious. John is sweating. He usually avoids this fight. This boss was never part of the plan. With their guide down, they run blindly. The party flees, not daring to look back once. Their leader is out cold. But John's insane game knowledge finally takes the lead. He remembers every hidden path. Trust me. I know the way out of here. They reach the entrance as the sun rises. Sunlight creates a barrier the vampire cannot cross. The beast hisses from the shadows. John spots a hidden statue while the mage recovers. He smashes the relic in secret. Obtained. Tears of the Goddess, a legendary healing item. This divine elixir repels all evil. The mage awakens, oblivious to John's secret loot. Nightfall approaches, and the tension rises. The vampire's power will peak once the sun sets. Darkness finally consumes the land. The Count is eager to turn them into thralls. He hungers for their blood and souls. The party readies their weapons for a final stand. The dwarf steps forward as the shield. Balance pillar. He braces for the first impact. He shattered their wills, turning enemies into mere puppets. Now, the frantic mob takes their stance, desperate to strike down this smiling demon. Their dwarf tank anchored his soul with a secret technique. He stood like a mountain, easily parrying the vampire's first lethal strike. The battlefield erupts. Everyone strikes from all sides against the Duke, but the stalemate holds after 500 meters. Neither side yields. The Duke summons a cloud of bats, infusing everyone with toxic blood and cursed marks. Marked souls become sacrifices. Within 100 meters, the vampire Duke's power surges with every life he claims. His regeneration peaks. Every vampire skill displays overwhelming might as he becomes a literal god of war. But there is more. Dark magic flows as he turns to smoke evading blades before transforming into explosive crows. The crows detonate like bombs. He even summons minions from the blood spilled across this hellish landscape. His cunning is unmatched. A high-tier monster's true terror is revealed after a brutal struggle for survival. The dwarf collapses, exhausted. With total annihilation looming, John orders AA to lead the retreat. He will be the lone shield. While the others flee, John prepares for a final stand against the monster. But the gap is too wide. John is brutally skewered 1,000 times, his body reaching its absolute limit. AA hesitates to leave her dying comrade, but a beautiful mage intervenes. Why run from such raw bravery? John's spirit burns brighter than any veteran's. In a desperate gamble, the mage throws him a level 7 golem essence. Absorption begins. John's stats explode into the stratosphere as the legendary power fuses with his soul. His senses shatter for a moment. Darkness takes his vision, but the lives behind him keep him standing. He snaps back to reality. His skin hardens into unbreakable iron, reflecting the vampire's pathetic strikes. The tide has turned. John unleashes his counterattack, laughing as he welcomes the enemy's blade. An insane strategy unfolds. He uses his own acidic blood as a weapon, letting the Duke cut him just to melt his steel. AA tries to teach him tactics, but she is instantly blown away by the sheer pressure of the fight. John's rage boils over. He hurls the Duke toward the dwarf, screaming for a lightning strike to finish him. The Duke is paralyzed. John shoves a sealing trap into his mouth, freezing the monster in a state of shock. The mage seizes the moment. A level 6 black hole magic erupts, swallowing the battlefield in absolute darkness. The blast knocks everyone unconscious. But thanks to the level 7 essence, John's recovery speed is superhuman. The vampire begins to regenerate. John has only one choice left. A forbidden flesh. Explosion suicide attack. He puts everything on the line. His entire body becomes a living bomb to erase this monster from existence. Agony tears through his soul. His body shatters, but the system finally rings with victory. Vampire X+5 defeated. He absorbs the core essence of the Protector, gaining godlike stats and skills. Exhaustion finally claims him. When he wakes, he's cradled by AA in a moment of rare peace. 3 days have passed. The others are gone, and John struggles to believe he survived. His body is perfectly healed, but his dignity is gone. Where are his damn pants? The salty mage stole everything. Bitter that John got the best loot, she took the gear and ran. 3 essences secured, but no pants. A small price for such legendary power. Time to head back to the city. The hunt ends here. Like and subscribe for more epic recaps. See you in the next stage. Every victory comes with a price, but John is now a force of nature. The world won't know what hit it. From a weakling to a godslayer, the journey has only just begun. Stay tuned for the next evolution. Don't forget to support the channel. Your likes keep the fire burning. Until next time, hunters. Final check. All systems go. John and AA head home. Peace out, legends.